joining us tonight. She's got family commitments, so I'm really sad that she's not joining us. So you've just got me. And tonight's video and talk is about patience and compassion. So we wanted to discuss this because we find it quite hard sometimes to be patient and compassionate with ourselves, and it's can be quite a struggle. And one of the reasons that it is a struggle is because a lot of people judge themselves, and we learn this from a very young age. So people struggle with different judgments. It can be you're not good enough, you're stupid. It can be judgments like you need to get up early, you need to go swimming, you need to do X, Y, and Z. All these types of things that are judging you and telling you that you need to do certain things in order to be good or accepted or given attention. So this is one of the reasons why we don't give ourselves enough patience and compassion, because of the judgments we have in our own minds about ourselves and how we should be acting and what we should be doing, because we're not listening to what is in our highest good. We might be thinking we should be doing this. We're training for a run, for example, and we should be running 3 times a week, but our body is telling us, no, you need to slow down, you need rest, but we don't listen to that, and the wounded part of us will take control and tell us that we need to get up early to go for a run, otherwise we're never going to be good enough and we're never going to win the race and everyone's going to laugh at us and all these things. And that's the way of our wounded self trying to control us and make us do something, instead of the loving part of us, which wouldn't say these nasty judgments to us. It would say what was in our highest good, and that might be to get up early and go for the run because we've got a goal to achieve, and that is what we need to do in order to achieve that goal. But that's not always the case. The loving part of us will always guide us into what's loving, and we will never feel anxious or anything but peace if our loving adult is in control. Now, there's a lot of times me and Jen were discussing that we feel impatient with other people and irritated with other people, and we were wondering, like, why is that? Why do we get impatient and irritated with other people? For example, you're at work and your colleague said he was going to give you something, or she was going to give you something on a certain day at a certain time, and it doesn't appear. And maybe you'll be okay, you'll be fine for a couple of minutes or hours, or even the next day. You might be okay until the next day. And then after that, you start to get really irritated. You've chased them, they're still not giving it to you. And you chase them again and they're still not giving it to you. When we get irritated and impatient with that person, we can automatically assume that it's because of the other person's behavior. But the reason for our impatience and our irritation is actually because we are ignoring one of our core feelings, which is helplessness over others. And helplessness over other people is a really, really big feeling that is very, very hard to deal with. It's hard to admit that you are helpless over other people and accept that they are going to do whatever they want to do. If they want to give you the report or that document on time when they've said they will do it. If they don't, they won't. For whatever reason is going on for them, but they won't do it. And we have to learn to embrace that feeling of helplessness, and that will stop us from feeling impatient and irritated with the other person, because we will learn to accept our helplessness. And yes, we can take some actions in order to rectify the situation. But at the end of the day, we do have to understand that we can't control others, and one of the ways we try and control others is with our impatience and irritation. And that's the same with situations. It doesn't have to be aimed at a particular person, but it could be at a particular situation. For example, if you wanted to pass an exam by a particular date because you needed to, it was going to help you get this job by this particular date, and that was like your life plan, then you can get irritated if, for example, if you don't pass the exam. You could get irritated and impatient and angry and upset. And again, that is because you're trying to control the situation from a wounded place. And what we should look at doing, instead of trying to control it from that place, which never makes us feel good, is try and control it from a loving place. So what can we control in this situation? Okay, I failed the exam, so I study harder next time and I'll pass it. I'm not going to reach the timeline that I set for myself, but I can control whether I achieve it within the next timeline. I have some control, not all control. Something could happen on the day of the exam and you panicked. Your family member could pass away and your mind goes blank. It's not fully controlling it, but you do have certain things within your control that can help you reach your goal. So that will avoid the feeling of irritation and impatience. And I don't think it will ever go away, but you will learn to be like, oh, there's irritation. Okay, that means that I'm feeling helpless and I'm ignoring it. And I need to really look inside and listen to that helplessness and say to my little boy or little girl that, yeah, it's a really hard feeling to deal with, being helpless over other people and situations. And I'm going to be there for you, and I'm going to be compassionate towards this feeling that I've got. And I'm going to ask guidance, what is in my control in this situation, because you can't control other people. So that's one thing that I definitely struggle with, and I've been working on a lot, dealing with impatience and irritation more over other people, because situations I can kind of accept. Okay, this is the situation, I've accepted it, okay, let's move on. But with people, you do tend to judge them as in, well, they are a grown adult, so they should be doing this or they should be doing this. But no one has to do anything. No one has to be tidy or tidy up. No one has to give you the report just because you've set a deadline. No one has to turn up for training just because they said they would. It's not, you can't control that. But I think with people, it's very, very difficult to let go of our control and fully accept our helplessness. But that is one of the things that would really help with letting go and releasing the irritation and the impatience around those people and situations. The second piece of this topic, obviously, is compassion. And compassion is one of those feelings or sort of actions that I think people find very, very hard to take for themselves. We do, again, like I said earlier in the video, we judge ourselves so much on a daily basis. Even if you don't put a pot away or something, you judge yourself. Oh, I'm not clean, I'm messy. These little things, if you're doing it on a constant basis, can really, you're clearly not being compassionate to yourself. And one of the things that really helps a peaceful life, and it also helps you move more flowy through life, is when you are compassionate with yourself. So if one day you don't go to the workout, you don't work out because you're tired or you're on your period or you've had a bad day at work, it's okay. It's okay. And we have to learn to be really, really kind to ourselves in those moments when we don't do what we said we would, and just figure out maybe why that is, why we're not doing what we said we would for ourselves and for others. But it takes a lot of patience to be compassionate with ourselves. The judgments that come every day, and what I found was really good, is writing down the judgments. So anytime you judge yourself, write it down, whether it's in your notes on your phone or in like me, I like old school pen and paper. So if you write it down, and you'll notice like a lot of the same similar judgments tend to come up. And once you notice and you're aware of the judgments, don't judge yourself for judging yourself, because that only perpetuates a cycle of more judgment. So you need to really bring compassion to that child, that inner child that is obviously feeling in some way scared and out of control, and that's why she's judging you. And bring that compassion into yourself every single day. It's a really good practice to do, and I obviously am a full advocate of inner bonding. So anyone who doesn't know what inner bonding is, you should know. Go to the website, just Google inner bonding, and it will come up. And it's all about self-love and loving yourself. And when we judge ourselves, we're really not being loving to ourselves. We're being very unkind. And I always like to imagine it as, okay, this judgment, would I say that to my child? So especially, this is amazing if you actually have kids, because you can say, okay, would I say this to Autumn, for example? Would I say to Autumn, you're stupid? No, you wouldn't, because you would not say that to your own child, because you care about them so much. You wouldn't do that. So why is it okay for you to do that to yourself? And how, also, if you did say that to your child, how would they feel? They'd feel rejected. They'd feel lonely. They'd feel alone. They'd feel like no one cares about them. All these feelings that they would feel, you will feel when you do that to yourself. So it's very, very important to be compassionate with yourself, and especially if you make a mistake. If you fail an exam, or you cheat on your partner, or whatever it is, you don't reach the goal that you wanted to reach, it's very important that we be compassionate with ourselves, because judgment will only keep the wounded part of us alive, and it's not going to help us become more loving to ourselves and others. So be compassionate to yourself, and in turn that will help you be more compassionate and bring more compassion to other people around you. And also, when you have children, you're their role model. So I don't have kids, but if you are not being kind to yourself, so if you're judging yourself and you have kids, you don't have to say the judgment out loud. You don't have to call yourself stupid out loud. They can feel the energy that comes from you. And if they feel that energy that my mum doesn't like herself, or my dad doesn't think he's good enough, then they're going to think, well, why would I be good enough if the two people in my life who I look up to and who are there to protect me don't believe in themselves and judge themselves daily? Then that's what they're going to learn. And they don't learn it through words or even actions. It's through energy. So this is why it's so super important to be patient and compassionate with yourself, because it doesn't just affect you. It affects everyone else around you. Okay, that's it for this evening. I hope you liked the talk. And if you have any questions, please just comment in the box and I'll check it later, or send us a message, me or Gemma. We'll be back again on Thursday next week to do another topic to be decided. And if you have any questions, or if you want us to discuss a particular topic, then please let us know, because we'd love to, talk about a topic that you're interested in, because that's what we're trying to do, create a community and help each other. So please let us know any particular topics that you would like to discuss, and I will see you again next week. Bye.